The sport of rugby is no longer just a rite of passage for boys to become men. In the last few years, the sport has proven a big hit with women. And now more and more Asian women are scrumming down too, as Sportsworld's Joanna Gazarovska found out. They're strong, they're skillful, and they're determined to win. These rugby players are some of the best Asia has to offer, and most surprisingly, they're all women. The sport may have long been a man's domain in places like Hong Kong and Japan, but things are changing fast in the Asian rugby scene.
We feel much better after playing well. 1, 2, 3, go!
Like the men who have played before them, more Asian women are seeing through the stereotype and finding a sport that is physically and psychologically liberating.
The game is really rough, so a lot of parents are like, no rugby for girls, and we have a hard time trying to get a team of players to come in. But I think the rugby in Singapore is developing quite quickly. My parents are they like sports. They like their daughters to play sports. I've got two sisters, and all of us are girls. And my dad was like, you go all out, play whatever you want, and I chose the rugby as a sport, and he said, sure, yeah, no worries.
From the eyes of outsiders, you may think that rugby is not a sport that girls would play. Sports are becoming more and more equal, even in Japan. So we say that women can equally play rugby just as the men do. Even though the image of the Japanese is dainty and not really aggressive, we feel the opposite, that we can be aggressive women and strong rugby players.
This is the 5th Asian Women's Rugby Sevens, an annual tournament which pits teams from all over the continent in a round-robin format, with each team playing 8 games over 48 hours.
Don't let them run around us. Don't let them beat outside.
This year it made its debut in the Middle East, in the Qatari capital Doha.
Sevens rugby is a shortened version of the normal 15s game to promote women's rugby in a fast, action-packed sort of way to the community. Something Doha probably never seen before, and not on a women's stage, that's for sure.
The 8 teams vying for the title were Uzbekistan, Sri Lanka, Hong Kong, Japan, Kazakhstan, Thailand, Singapore, and the host nation, the Arabian Gulf.
Hong Kong is good.
Over the past 10 years, the sport has witnessed an enormous growth in popularity, especially as the typical image of Asian women becomes less defined. None of these countries are rugby giants yet, but each of their players has an unflinching passion for the game, even if they have very different physical qualities and style. And don't be fooled, whatever their size when they hit, it hurts. Injuries are common whether they're playing for titles or simply pride. These women are from all over Asia, but they're united in a common goal. Of course, they all want to win the trophy here in Doha, but perhaps more importantly is the desire to promote the sport to other women in their countries.
I think winning is right now the top priority, and by coming in top 2 at least for Singapore, it'll be a great boost for us in terms of support from the Sports Council and the game being a more popular sport amongst girls, knowing that, hey, if Team Singapore can do it, so why not? We'll try it out.
We hope to be in the top 3 because that might influence the people at the top to give us money.
As night falls, the stakes are rising. Thailand beat the Arabian Gulf to secure 3rd place, and so it was down to Japan versus 3-time winners Kazakhstan in the final. In the end, the latter proved too strong for the Japanese, thrashing them by 25 points to 0.
I dream about it all year because in the last year we lost to China. That's why all year I think only about Asian Championship.
For these women, it's been a hot and tiring 2 days on the pitch. But even among those who didn't win, there's some sense of victory. They came, they played, and with each game, they took another step towards changing perceptions. Joanna Gazarovska, Al Jazeera, Doha.
Finally, we'll end where we started, looking ahead to the Rugby World Cup and a nation more known for its prowess on the football pitch rather than the rugby field. Yet Argentina has competed in the Rugby World Cup for the last 20 years and seems to quite relish its title of underdogs. The Pumas were the first team to ever beat France in Marseille, so Sportsworld's Brendan Connor went to meet them.
Here in Buenos Aires, football is king. Kids kick footballs around parks all over this huge city of 12 million. But here in the wealthy suburb of San Isidro, it's rugby that's king. And this British-style private school is where the national team does its training.
When you think of the sport of rugby, you may not list Argentina as one of the world's great powers, nor a candidate to triumph at this year's World Cup. But there are a lot of great Argentinian players who are currently starring for club teams in Europe, and when they get together to play for their country, the feeling is, and the general consensus is, that they form a formidable side, one to be reckoned with in World Cup play.
If you look at the last calendar year going into the World Cup, Argentina managed to beat England in England for the first time, which is a very big win. They beat Italy in Italy. They came within 2 points of beating France in France, which was a real build-up to the World Cup. Same ground, same referee, same two teams, so that was very big.
This national side is known here and abroad as Los Pumas, currently ranked number 6 in the world. While their preparations on this crisp and almost chilly day in Buenos Aires are mostly strength and conditioning drills, the team's top players say they are feeling in form and looking forward to testing themselves once again among the world's best.
Nobody likes playing us, so that's a good thing, and I think that we earn that respect for not only for the last 2 or 3 years, but throughout our history.
After a few years, we showed to the rugby world that we have the capacity and the quality of players to play in a bigger championship like 3 nations or 6 nations. So we're still fighting and still improving to show them that we can play at that level.
Los Pumas are none too pleased with the draw they have for the World Cup. They find themselves grouped with the powerful French and Irish sides. But they are determined, they say, to make their mark against their higher-ranked opponents.
I think we have a 50-50 chance to go through. We have played against both teams, and with friends locally, we have been able to win more times in the last 5 years. We have won a recent match with them, so we will see what happens in the first game.
3 of the first 6 teams in the same pool, and I think that it has no logic at all. For us, or for Ireland, or for France, we are definitely we're not being helped by being in this pool.
Coming into the sport's greatest tournament, the South Americans feel they are supremely fit, and they say their ability to endure match after grueling match is a big pillar of their game. And that fitness, they feel, is coupled with an ever-improving back line.
We know we have a very strength in our forwards with the scrum and the drive, but we have a lot of quality players in the back, so we are trying to improve our game to try to play the ball more outside.
And we are physically quite tough. We have a good scrum historically. It's part of our culture. And in the last couple of this generation of players, we includes like a very good backline.
So in spite of entering competition grouped with 2 of the top 5 countries, and with the prospect looming of facing New Zealand if they do go through, Argentina seems undaunted, even optimistic.
Probably the best prepared Argentine team ever. We're definitely looking at a team that is capable of beating anyone and everyone. But then again, it's the bounce of the ball, it's that penalty that was given away, and it was that kick, the bounce of the posts.
In a game that demands physicality, speed, strategy, and heart, the Argentinians feel they have all the required ingredients, and they're hungry for respect. Based on their recent results against the big teams in the world, opponents might be wise to afford Argentina that respect, because with the right bounce of the ball, they could easily become the dark horses or the spoilers in Group D. Brendan Connor, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
As ever, don't forget you can check out our website aljazeera.net/English, which will bring you up to date with all the latest sports news and give you the opportunity to tell us what you think of the show. But from Paris, that's it from this edition of Sportsworld ahead of the Rugby World Cup. I'm Carrie Brown, you're watching Al Jazeera.